Sunday night cruise night has become a Winnipeg tradition. For most, it's an opportunity to show off the collector car or vehicle which has been modified in some way. I've seen the Mystery Machine, for example, from Scooby-Doo out on the roads of Winnipeg over the years, or simply a chance to show off your ride. For others, it's a chance to window shop for their dream vehicle.
Yeah, but it has also had some deadly consequences, as some people involved have turned that fun night of showing off your vehicle into a night of racing, stunting, and other irresponsible behaviors. Winnipeg has a strong collector and exotic car culture. You can see it on display other nights of the week as well, Loren.
Yeah, and that's why we want to change the gears in this conversation, so to speak, and no pun intended, about the other possible concerning side of this. So we want to share with you a letter that was addressed as an open letter to parents. It's written over concerns about speeding cars and racing in the Bridgewater area of Waverly West in the southwest part of Winnipeg. The letter begins like this. This message is for everyone, but is directed to parents with a request that you talk to your kids about the deathly dangers of speed. In my graduating year, 2 classmates died when a powerful car they were passengers in crashed and rolled. The following year, when I was 18, the doorbell rang one morning and the police informed my mom, my sister, and 2 brothers that our dad was killed in a vehicle crash. Lives changed forever. Parents, I might seem overly aggressive in my approach to road safety, and I apologize. I want to share with you what I witnessed this past Saturday night and ask you to please talk to your kids. And please share this message with other parents. This is the start of summer, of fun times, and hopefully a safe summer. Your help is appreciated. Those are the words of City Councillor for Waverly West, Janice Lukes. And Councillor Lukes joins us now. Good morning, Janice.
Good morning. Good morning.
I want to thank you for sharing those words and that reflection on what happened to you and your father, because that's something I wasn't even aware of myself, even after all the conversations we've had with you over those years. And that might even be what some of your constituents are feeling, that they didn't know this. I'm curious what you're hearing back from parents when it comes just to the revelation of the personal impact in your own life to a car accident.
Well, it's not something you really, you don't run around and talk about. But, I know people think I may be a little excessive and a little focused on road safety. But you know what? It's completely, you cannot explain that feeling. You cannot explain the experience. You cannot explain how your life has changed forever unless you've experienced it. Not to add to it, but when I was 32, my brother died in a plane crash. So we've had a lot of drama in our lives, and things can happen in a second, in 2 seconds, and lives are changed forever. And, so I am a little aggressive on this whole road safety thing and pedestrian safety and safe walking and cycling, and I'm motivated by it because I know the impacts. I know what it feels like.
So you outline in detail at your website, janicelukes.ca, what you witnessed. But can you just give us a snapshot of what's happening in Bridgewater parking lots and the streets of that part of the city?
Yeah, so it's not really a secret, but everyone knows that 10 o'clock on Saturday nights, Friday and Saturday nights, sometimes Sunday, we had it on the long weekend every night, a group of vehicles and drivers gather in the Save on Foods parking lot. And then, basically we hear the noise. We hear the cars revving. We hear the racing up and down Keniston. And so I thought, residents and I would just go and sit there and see what happens on Saturday night. Some people may criticize me saying, well, that's not a counselor's job. And I say to them, well, you know what? There's no handbook on what a counselor does. But I thought, when you go firsthand and see things, you get a whole other perspective. So we sat there at 9:45, and by about 20 after 10, 40 cars and trucks had driven into the parking lot, all lined up. Very beautiful, hot cars, supercars, expensive cars, rebuilt cars, trucks, you name it. And the kids got out. And I'm saying kids because, you know what, I looked at the demographics. So the demographics were very young kids, 18 to 24, male, female, lots of kids, 2 to 3 to a car, having a good time, right? Picking up pizza, having a good time. And then basically at about 10:15, they got in their vehicles. They were a white half-ton truck was the leader. And they took off. So the resident and I said, well, let's join in this and follow them. So we turned onto Northtown Road. I left the parking lot and went north on Kenaston. We got to, a red light, and 8 cars turned left on the red light on Kenaston, which is 80 kilometers an hour, and just sped off. Had we not stopped, I'm sure others would have gone. So we followed them. It was raining. The roads were slick. We followed them onto Kenaston. They were going extremely fast, whizzing past us. We got by Home Depot, Lowe's. Whoosh, they were all going by. So eventually we got on Kenaston at Grant, and we said, well, this is ridiculous. They're all gone. Let's just turn around and go back. So we turned around to go back, and at the McGilvery and Kenaston intersection, there was a huge collision. There was a crash. There were 2 cars that had crashed. So, I just get this sick feeling in the bottom of my stomach, right? You see all these young kids. They're just so beautiful and healthy and happy, and you're wondering, so is this two of these kids, 2 of the cars with kids in them? Who is it? Or is it someone who ran a red light and 2 other cars may have crashed trying to avoid someone running a red light? That's one of the most dangerous collision intersections in the city. Anyway, so we went back. Went back to the Save On Foods parking lot to kind of just go wow and discuss what we experienced. And a few other cars drove up. Started drifting, basically spinning around in the parking lot, revving their engines. And I had called police when they had gone through, 8 cars had gone through the red light and filed a police report. The police showed up when we got back there, and I spoke to them and just sort of relayed the situation. They had a lot going on Saturday night. I was very appreciative that they showed up. And then they went and talked to a couple cars. We left, and I proceeded south on Kenaston, and we have this beautiful Altea fitness center with a massive parking lot, and there were another 20 vehicles sitting in there. Not drifting because there wasn't enough space, but they were just hanging out, waiting. We got some plate numbers. We have a webcam or whatever the camera is on the car, but we reported it. I'm encouraging residents to report it. The police are doing, I guess, what they can do. Residents are reporting it, but I just thought, when I looked at those kids, these are kids. These kids can't afford that car, that vehicle, and live in an apartment on their own. So in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, but clearly the majority of them are living at home. So some of them, their parents may not be here, but I would say the majority of the ones that I saw are living at home. So I thought, you know what? I'm putting a letter out to the parents on my Facebook page and Twitter. I don't know if it's going to do any good, but, I appreciate you giving me this platform to speak about this too.
Well, it's a very dangerous situation, and potentially even more dangerous if this continues. You know that people get braver the more things they get away with. Janice, this whole idea of you saying it's no secret that this takes place. Are we going to guess that police knew about this regardless, or ahead of you phoning them and letting them know? And just quickly before we let you run here, just this idea of there's another part of this equation, right? And that is people who might be responsible for these individuals, whether they're under 18 or over 18. If you're giving them access to your vehicle or they live under your house, you might want to know what they're up to, and you might want to have a talk to them about why this might not be the best idea. And best way for you to spend your time.
Well, I know the police are very aware that these events occur because I've talked to them many times about it. Residents have reported it. I requested, you can't tell the police what to do, but I asked that they put some ghost cars there on Saturday and Friday nights and just sort of observe what we did and follow and take part. And, one of the things, too, about 10 cars didn't have license plates on them. I think they probably take the plates off when they're racing so that if they do go through cameras or such, they're not, caught. A couple other ones had those reflective plates. I just hope nothing bad happens, but something will, because you can't go through red lights and you can't race like that and not have bad things happen. So, and I don't know what caused the collision at McGilvery, whether it was a red light being raced or if it was one of them. I don't know, but I tell you, you lose someone close to you in a second, in a heartbeat, and it's a devastation. And I hope parents who've got kids who've got hot cars, sit them down and have a talking with them. I don't know if they'll do any good, but, we have to try everything we can.
Janice Luke, City Councillor for Waverly West, joining us live on CJOB. Janice, thank you so much for this.
Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.